Let us concentrate on the divine form of Sri Ramakrishna and pray to him to assimilate his teachings so that we may feel fulfillment in our life. Om Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmasvarupine Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmasvarupine Avataravariष्ठाय Ramakrishnaaya te namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to the Divine Master, Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, who practiced through his life all the various disciplines of religion and declared that all the religions lead to the same goal. By this declaration, he removed all narrowness in the name of religion. It is very important to note this point in the modern context, where even now people are so dogmatic and fanatic about their respective religion. So, what has happened is the attitude of one-pointedness and holding on to one particular path with steadfast devotion and faith sometimes leads people to become fanatic if they do not understand the value of the broad-mindedness. Unless a person understands the due reverence for all religions, he ends up in some kind of fanaticism. So, whoever comes to Sri Ramakrishna, this point is very clear. We can never become fanatic, we can never become dogmatic. We mean what we say. Saying, feeling, doing, everything is unified. There's coordination between what we think, what we do. When we say we accept all religions, we do mean by that exactly what we said. We respect all religions, we respect all incarnations, we worship them, giving same respect as we give to Sri Ramakrishna. That's why we have seen in our shrine here, we have kept Lord Buddha, Lord Christ, to indicate that all these incarnations are coming from the same source, that is Brahman. So, it is very important to know this spiritual idea and then practice a different path. You won't be dogmatic. Everyone is struggling to get free from suffering, and you cannot be free from the miseries of the world as long as the mind is allowed to run after the worldly objects. As long as you always cherish in your mind, I must do this, I must do that, I must go here, I must go there, I have got to do this, I have got to do that. So this kind of identification with the things external, I ought to live like this, I can't go on spending time in thinking about God, who will look after my wife, who will look after my children. So all these things, they simply push you to hang on the world and worldly environments, worldly situations, worldly things, worldly events. So the more and more mind is pushed that way, the more and more you are chaining yourself. So hard to break the chain. It becomes so hard. You become suffocated. You crave for freedom. You crave for happiness. You crave for joy. But you cannot get out of it because you yourself have chained so hard, difficult to break off. So, what Sri Ramakrishna wants to point out here is that if you are really aspiring for spiritual unfoldment, if you want to develop your spiritual personality inherent in you, very important point you should remember, that is, you must certainly get rid of worldliness. There is no compromise there. You must have to give up the worldliness. As long as your mind is sticking on to that, that means as long as you are permitting the mind to hold on to the worldly things or worldly desires or worldly accomplishments, hankering after the worldly things, it's very difficult to establish yourself on the divine form. So, Sri Ramakrishna tells, take care. At least you have become aware. Who is the cause of my trouble? My own worldly inclinations. They are the cause of my trouble. Remove the cause, suffering goes, vanishes instantly. Without removing the cause, if you just apply external ointment to the wound, just for a day or two it appears as if it is healed. Again it comes up because the inside the wound is not healed. So we have wounded ourselves so deeply, it is rather very hard to heal the wound that has occurred in our inner being. That is, the mind is wounded. That wound is because of the worldliness. So we have to get rid of this worldliness, whatever it is and however difficult it might be. That's very important point. Whatever path you may follow, whatever yoga you may practice, wherever you may be, either you may be in the forest, or you may be in the home, or you may be in the office, wherever you may be, you have to get rid of this worldliness. Then only the spiritual plant sprouts. As long as the worldliness remains in the mind, it obstructs the growth of spiritual plant that is there in every one of us. There are certain ways of getting rid of this worldliness. How to get rid of this worldliness? It's so easy to know, but very difficult to do it. There are so many ways of getting rid of this worldliness. Once you know the danger, certainly you will take these steps to avoid the danger. First you must become sure of the danger. That's very important. That's the first step. Danger of worldliness. Now, suppose some sweets are offered to you You are a healthy man. You take the bit of the sweet, you enjoy it so well. Oh, how nice it is. Let me take some more. You take it. You would like to have little more. Again you take it. Go on taking it because you want to satisfy yourself. The more and more you take, the intensity of the happiness that you would feel by taking the sweet gets reduced slowly. And at one point of time, when you have taken sufficiently large quantities of sweets, then you feel nothing more. I don't want anything now. I don't want any more sweets. I don't want. Period. So like that you decide. But that decision you took it only after you had more than what you wanted. In the same way, the worldliness also. The person becomes worldly, too much worldly, so much worldly, then he becomes disgusted with worldliness. Then, no more. Enough of it. No more. I don't want. You simply run away from the worldly situations and environments. But anyway, mind has to be withdrawn from the world, from the glamorous world. It has to be taken back. So, that is one way. Another way is not to go on getting involved in the worldly things. What is this? I am undergoing a lot of problems, sufferings, so and so. Is this all that I am getting? Then why should I aspire for this? So you must cut off all worldly aspirations with a strong willpower. It means you have to exert your willpower, you have to develop your willpower, you have to strengthen your willpower. Then it is possible to pull the mind from worldliness. Then only you will be able to fix the mind or make the mind sit at the spiritual idea. Then only you will be able to concentrate and achieve something worthwhile. So, only when you are able to free the mind from worldliness completely, then only you will become well established in a state of samadhi. Samadhi is a state where you are enjoying peace and joy. It is possible also sometimes suddenly gathering the dispersed mind, one may get into that samadhi state. But this kind of samadhi does not last long because the worldly thoughts are not removed. So they intrude and destroy that state of samadhi. That is why we find in the field of spirituality so many yogis, so many men of spirituality slip down from yoga. They slip down from yoga because the worldly weeds have not been removed. They were there at some corner of the mind. So they are coming up and creating problems. Sri Ramakrishna explains it, giving an example. There is a kind of animal, mongoose. It lives in its hole, up in the wall. It feels snug there. Sometimes people tie a brick to its tail. As a result, the pull of the brick makes the mongoose come out of its hole. Every time the mongoose tries to be comfortable inside the hole, but it has to come out because of the pull of the brick. Such is the effect of brooding on worldly objects, that it makes the yogi stray from the path of yoga. So Sri Ramakrishna explains it, giving lots of examples. The lotus blooms, no doubt, when the sun is up, but its petals close again when the sun is covered by a cloud. Worldly thought is the cloud. So what happens when one reaches that highest state of samadhi? The world no longer holds any charm for the aspirant. He is no more deluded by the world because he is absorbed in the consciousness of God. This absorption leads to samadhi, an experience which is indescribable. It is beyond is and is not. There is neither happiness nor misery, neither light nor darkness. All is infinite being. It is a state of perfect peace, as if you are in deep sleep, a state of perfect peacefulness. Sri Ramakrishna explains this highest state of spiritual realization by giving another illustration. Suppose you keep 10 vessels filled with water, expose them to the sun. The sun reflects in each vessel. Break the vessels one by one, the reflection gets reduced. When only one vessel is left, the sun reflects in that. Finally, break even the last of the vessel. What remains? The sun itself. Similarly, the self-luminous Brahman reflects in the vessels of mind, senses, ego. They are all different vessels where the sun is being reflected. Break these vessels one by one and go beyond the physical consciousness. Go beyond the subtle body. Go beyond the causal body. When you are able to go that way, you will reach Savikalpa Samadhi. That means you will see God face to face. But even in this stage, the sense of separateness still remains. The sense of duality. I am witnessing, I am seeing. Subject, object is still there. I am seeing God. So the perceiver and perceived, they exist. So the last vessel, that means, is still to be broken. What is that last vessel? That ego. I am seeing, I am witnessing, I am remaining apart, I am identifying myself as so and so. Break it. And what remains? Brahman and Brahman alone. Who is there to see whom? Who describe to whom? These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. That's the highest state of realization. When the mind is lost in samadhi, there is no consciousness of the present either. It's a state beyond past, present and future. That means you go beyond the time, space and causation. That state can't be described. It is not an ordinary state. Coming down from it, one cannot find words to express the joy of samadhi. You felt immensely joyful. You will not be able to explain it, only you are able to experience it and feel that immense peacefulness in yourself. So Sri Ramakrishna would go very frequently to that highest state of samadhi. It was rather very difficult for him to come down. It is vice versa with our case. It is very difficult to raise our mind to the right level. But in case of Sri Ramakrishna, it was very difficult for him to get down. So he would cherish some trivial desire. I want to drink water. Something he needs, otherwise the mind cannot come down. So he would throw some desire into the lake of the mind. He would throw some desire. When you throw some desire, it produces its ripples. So when he said, I want to drink water. Immediately the mind takes that idea and tries to satisfy what he wants. He wants to drink water, so he becomes conscious of the external thing. Next, Sri Ramakrishna explains there are 5 kinds of light. The light of a lamp, the light of various kinds of fire, the light of the moon, the light of the sun, and lastly, the combined light of the sun and the moon. Sri Ramakrishna is giving this illustration to explain various religious, spiritual paths. Each path is like a light. It illumines, no doubt, the aspirant, but the intensity and voltage differs. And Sri Ramakrishna explains further, Bhakti is the light of the moon. Jnana is the light of the sun. In an incarnation of God, one sees at the same time the sun of knowledge and the moon of love. Sun of knowledge and the moon of love. Just as we see sometimes in the daytime also we see moon along with the sun. Both sun and moon are visible on some days. So Sri Ramakrishna gives that example. Incarnations are like that. They manifest both jnana and bhakti. So if you understand all these various factors, then it becomes clear to us how we should proceed in our spiritual path. What is needed is love and knowledge. Both are great indeed. Love is great, knowledge is great. Both are great. We need both. Then only the joy becomes full. Otherwise you have got partial joy. But if you have both jnana and bhakti, the joy becomes full. That joy is indescribable. So we should cherish that way. Let us fix that target. Let us follow the ideal with all carefulness, not deviating, not going here and there to distract the mind. You must have sufficient strength of mind if you have to go here and there. By going here and there, don't get destroyed yourself. That only shows you have not become strong enough to go here and there. So that means in the initial stage you require your spiritual ideas to be strengthened properly. So without being dogmatic, without being fanatic, follow the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna with great steadfastness, with great zeal, with clarity of mind. Until and unless I realize the truth, let me not go here and there. Let me not waste my energy in distracting the mind. So it all depends upon to what extent your mind is up to. The substance of what Sri Ramakrishna tells here is that the spirituality becomes real to you only when you get rid of worldliness. If you get rid of 25% of worldliness, then to that extent you have the spirituality. If you get rid of 50% of worldliness, you have 50% of spirituality. You must measure that. So accordingly you must intensify your sadhana. Intensify your sadhana. Lukewarm practices will have no effect upon you. Lukewarm. You must be very strong and zealous in doing the sadhana. So at the time of practice, you must use all your energy towards achieving your spiritual goal. So, that needs regular, not interrupted spiritual disciplines in life. So, what I am telling is, by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, you have been coming here. By his grace, you have been able to go through his teachings. So, try to become more and more inward. Come to the ashrama more frequently and become associated with the spiritual activities of the ashram here. So that mind is engaged in the spiritual current without deviating the mind anywhere else. As soon as you come to the ashram, the first thing you should do before going anywhere in this building, when you enter the building, the first thing is come to the chapel, offer your salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, sit down for 2-3 minutes, then go. Whatever work you want to do, whatever service you want to do. There must be dignity, reverence, respect. Then only you will enjoy spirituality, not otherwise. Simply coming in a haphazard way and living a haphazard life will not improve the situation. So, every moment is very important. When you step into the ashram, how you behave. You behave like a good devotee, behave like a man of knowledge. Both jnana and bhakti should be combined in your approach. You are coming here, this is the place of Sri Ramakrishna, where Sri Ramakrishna's special manifestation is. Since we are worshipping Sri Ramakrishna every day here, since Sri Ramakrishna has been installed in a proper way, so divine power is manifest here in a special way. So that spiritual light we would be able to see once we are aspiring for it. So when you come here, let the whole mind be occupied with Sri Ramakrishna. Nothing else. Keep all other things outside for the time being. Come with the full mind of Sri Ramakrishna. Come with fullness of mind. Sit down for 2-3 minutes. Then go. Then your service also becomes beautiful and you will do it carefully because it's a sadhana. Meditation is not only the practice, even the activities, karma. If you do it in a proper way, that becomes sadhana. That's what Sri Ramakrishna tells. So Sri Ramakrishna's instruction to us is that we should develop all this jnana bhakti karma in right proportion. Then we enjoy real peace and joy. Chapter 17, page 353. In the morning, the master and M were conversing alone under the bell tree. The master told him many secrets of spiritual discipline, exhorting him to renounce lust and gold. He further said that the mind at times becomes one's guru. After his midday meal, the master went to the Panchavati wearing a beautiful yellow robe. 2 or 3 Vaishnava monks were there, clad in the dress of their sect. In the afternoon, a monk belonging to the sect of Nanak arrived. He was a worshipper of the formless God. Sri Ramakrishna asked him to meditate as well on God with form. See, though that person was inclined to worship God in formless aspect, Sri Ramakrishna is directing him to meditate on God with form too, because he wanted to make him realize that God with form is as true as God without form. He wants to give him that vision. So the master said to him, dive deep. One doesn't get the precious gems by merely floating on the surface. God is without form, no doubt, but He also has form. See how clearly, directly, without any doubt, without any ambiguity, Sri Ramakrishna is telling. God has form. Finished. Period. There should not be any more doubts. Oh, there are forms of Durga, Kali, Rama, Krishna, Ganesha. They are true. Don't ask those questions anymore. Because Sri Ramakrishna himself has said God has form. He is the embodiment of truthfulness. He is telling out of his own realization. And he himself has said that he has seen all the divine forms of God. So what? Let there not be any kind of doubt regarding the forms of God. They do exist. Certainly they exist. Because we are not able to see them with our gross eyes, it does not mean they are not there. Say, I happen to meet a monk, a very good, highly evolved spiritual being. He said his experience. Once he was walking through in the streets of Vrindavan, where everywhere they sing about Krishna, they utter the name of Lord Krishna, and he was going to attend some festival. Suddenly, one monk came there from nowhere. He came and he asked him, "Can I also come with you?" And he said, "You are welcome. Please come. We will go together." So then hired a rickshaw, and both of them they sat and went to the particular place to visit the festival. But the authorities there, the sponsors of that festival, the temple authorities there, they somehow did not like the other monk coming with this person, because this person was known to them, the other one was not known to them, and moreover the other person was having only lion cloth. So they said, why that monk is coming, let him not come, you only come. Like that the authorities told him, and this Swami said, why are you obstructing like that? If you don't allow him, I am also not coming. So then he left the place with him. So they went back and visited some temples, and they sat under a tree, talked about spiritual matters for a while. Suddenly that another monk who came, he disappeared, vanished. Then only he came to know, oh, how there are many saints without body, still living. There are, but they are visible only to the people who have attained a state of spiritual realization. They are not visible to all sorts of people. That means as long as the mind is drowned in worldliness, forget about the vision of all saints, etc. Even the liking also will not come. So, what I am telling is how it is very important to have that purity of heart. So the master said to him, dive deep. One doesn't get the precious gems by merely floating on the surface. God is without form, no doubt, but He also has form. What a fine statement. What a great assurance and hope for all of us. Why should we keep on doubting again and again about, oh, idol worship, idol worship, idol worship, idol worship. If you don't want idol worship, don't do it. But don't find fault with a man who worships idol. You have no business to talk about that person. Unless you become yourself pure, how can you know whether he is doing wrong or right? So what you should do, if you are not having inclination towards forms of God, don't bother. You go in your own path, that's all. But what Sri Ramakrishna tells, if you come to Sri Ramakrishna's way, you hold on to formless aspect, good, but don't disrespect those who worship God with form. Don't bother them, don't yourself get worried over them. That's the way. Mind is fickle, It wants something, it wants to get out somewhere. So if you allow the mind to get out, it creates problem. So you must develop the power in such a way, the mind should not go out without your permission. Every time you must find out whether mind is acting according to my own way or I am acting according to ways of the mind. You should question that yourself before doing anything. That's very important. So the master said to him, dive deep. One doesn't get the precious gems by merely floating on the surface. God is without form, no doubt, but He also has form. By meditating on God with form, one speedily acquires devotion. Then is important. Then one can meditate on the formless God. It is like throwing a letter away after learning its contents and then setting out to follow its instructions. Let us stop here. Any questions to ask? Try to come more and more for all the classes and the services and evening prayers. People here are not trained at all. Evening service is very important. Very, very important. Attending Arati. God is visibly present. It's a direct service. So, as many days as possible, honestly try to come to the services, evening service. As if they think it's not necessary. Just go and see evening time. 100 monks will be sitting there. 15 minutes before the commencement of the Arati. 100 monks will be sitting there inside. 100 brahmacharis will be sitting there inside, ready to start the Arati. They all join together, Khandana, Bhavavandana, they join and sing. Why can't we do that? Why can't we bring that kind of atmosphere here also? So I had been to Austin a few days back, very fantastic program. 3,000 people have attended. It should be more, I think. 3,000 people attending the installation of the deity, Radharani. So well organized. No noise, no disturbance of any kind. You can feel that devotion, their love of God. That's remarkable. See, my view has got different dimension. It is not like a fanatic going and seeing the view. I am going with Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual outlook. I appreciate everything. I am not fanatic. That approach. So my roots are strong enough not to get away from Sri Ramakrishna. That's very important. So I enjoy immensely, more than what they enjoyed. That site, beautiful. And lots of people, and they had arranged a helicopter also. It was hovering over the sky, and 3 times it showered the flowers on the tower of the temple. The temple tower is so high. It's a fantastic, beautiful sight to see. Rain of flowers 3 times, and they had built a chariot. Beautiful decoration. You can't make out. It is a truck. Nobody can make out. The whole thing is covered so nicely, and even the driver also, even the wheel also, the steering wheel is also not visible. So nicely they have decorated. Every single item has been done with thorough perfection. I was amazed to see. What joy, what participation. You must see how they are working there. Why should we not develop that kind of affection, affinity towards the ashram? Develop that. Then your spirituality becomes fruitful. So I could feel it really, great joy. And all of them singing, 3,000 people singing songs on Krishna, Radha, amazing. So, but make it a point. As soon as you return from the office, don't run here and there. Run here instead of running somewhere else. Feel that coming to ashrama is relaxing. Don't feel it's my mind is tired and body is tired. True. When you come to ashrama, you relax your body, you relax your mind. Feel that way. You inject that idea into the mind. I am going to mind. I am going to ashram. Let me relax there. Come here. Drop yourself here. Oh Lord, Sri Ramakrishna, I am not able to do prayer in my home. Let me participate here. The same benefit you will get. More benefit you will get coming here. Because in the atmosphere will not be there in the home. Some phone call will come. Somebody will come. Some problems will come. So many things come. I need not explain to you. So, we should be more and more attracted towards Sri Ramakrishna ideal At least those who are initiated into this kind of spiritual life, I wish them to participate more in these activities. With these words, I conclude my talk. If there is any question, you can ask. Any question? Do you have any question? Keep the mind in Sri Ramakrishna, you are gold. Lift the mind from Sri Ramakrishna, mind becomes rata. So don't lift the mind from Sri Ramakrishna at all. Keep the mind always in Sri Ramakrishna, so that you always remain gold. Very good. Jai Ramakrishna. So we had Vivekananda plaque dedication ceremony. It was very nice, and probably you have heard about how the dedication ceremony went off in the Art Institute. On November 4th, another big event is coming up. That is, we are naming the street in the name of Swami Vivekananda. So, Consulate General of India is working very hard to organize this program. He is a very nice man, and he wants to see that as many people as possible participate in this program. He is expecting at least 6,000 to 7,000 people to come, because we are planning to have procession, Swami Vivekananda's portrait in the street where we are naming, little worship, invocation and prayer, and brief talks by dignitaries. Anyway, the details you will come to know in a few days. Everything is coming up so quickly, there is no time for us to give wide publicity and make the people know things, etc. Anyway, we are trying, and there will be some press release also, so that people may come to know. Anyway, be in touch with us so that you will know the details of the program. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are Thy names, O Lord, in each and every name Thy power resides. No times of rest, no rites are needful for chanting of Thy name. So vast is Thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to Thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stealest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.